Hi, this is Cami Vieira. Welcome to our conversation today. I hope you're doing well wherever you are in the planet right now. We have dogs around, and this is good. I love dogs. They are always welcome here. And before we start going deeper into talking about limiting beliefs, I would just like to give a brief explanation of what it is for those of you who have never heard of that. So basically, a limiting belief is when you have these statements that you take as true, and then it starts to manifest in your external environment, in your life, as a new reality based on that belief that you have. So it's something that gets stored at the back of your mind, and then it starts to translate into actions, into decisions that you have with everything around you. Not necessarily all beliefs that we have, they are limiting. We also have very expansive and very welcoming types of beliefs, and those that are really uplifting, those that are really empowering and create that sense of wonder in how we experience this life, because we are that in the first place. So then things start to shift and evolve around us based on those choices that we make. And this is the important thing about limiting beliefs, is recognizing that we're not victims of limiting beliefs. We're actually the creators of beliefs, and sometimes they are uplifting, while on other occasions they are limiting. And when limiting beliefs start to become limited, there are, of course, some certain situations that from the get-go they are limiting itself, while there are also other occasions at which those limiting beliefs, they not necessarily start as limiting beliefs, but after, let's say, certain experiences that you have, and then you already grew, you already evolved with them, it starts to feel kind of outdated in nature, meaning they are not allowing you to expand and explore more of life, being this living being here and enjoying your life experience, your earthly experience. So it's all about what we are telling ourselves, what we take as true, and how much we are open to new possibilities in our lives and how to experience this journey. So this is very interesting, because when you start to recognize that although those beliefs, they may be unconscious to you, when they come to your awareness, it's such a kind of discovery that you can have about yourself, about how you are living your life. And from that, you can shift entirely your perspective on things and how you relate to people around you, how you make the choices that you make. So it's a wonderful opportunity to go deeper within yourself. And that's what I love a lot about identifying limiting beliefs. So how can you identify limiting beliefs? Well, there are many ways. The first one I would say is through triggers. One of the easiest forms of identifying a trigger happens through a strong attachment or a strong aversion to something. So let's take the example of the dog, right? The dog is barking outside. If I were to be too strong and say, I don't want noises from dogs, because otherwise I could not do this video, then I would be limiting myself in recording this video for you because of the sound of the dog. So you see how it works. In our daily lives, sometimes we stop ourselves from doing something because we tend to believe that there is something on the way, when actually there's not. It's just a thinking, it's just a thought that we have. And what happens when there is a strong attachment to a belief? So let's take, for instance, those parents that would love their children when they grow up to have a specific professions. Normally, what is in the back of their mind is that they think that their kids are going to be more professionally and financially successful if they pursue those careers, right? Normally, this is what is at the back of their minds, but that not necessarily means that this is what, first of all, the children want, or that their children wouldn't be able to be financially successful doing other things, other activities. So there's a belief in there that the financial success could only happen through that type of activity. So if those parents, for instance, they would be asked about their grown-up kids, they would be very strong in their answer to other people who would ask them what would be the activity or the professional activity that their grown-up kids would engage with. So this is an example of how you can identify limiting beliefs through triggers. Another one is conditional self-talk. And normally it happens when someone starts a phrase like, or a thinking that not necessarily is being expressed of, oh, if I would be, example, living in the mountains, then I would be happy. So this is a kind of conditional thing that the person is creating for him or herself. And it's not leading them to feel happier anyway, because the possibility of that to happen becomes limited to that specific circumstance. And on top of that, they're also limiting themselves in not making possible in the right now moment of what they want to live. So if I would be living in the mountains, mean that although you wish that, you're not having that. Although you're wishing that, you're not taking the actions in that direction because you feel as if it's already impossible. Internally, this is the message that is coming forth as something that's not feasible at the right now moment. And even if it may take some time, this would of course require some action from the person. So it's really necessary that this action part also exists. Otherwise, if they're not taking the movement in that direction, that is simply what? A wishful thinking. You wish for that, but you're not going in that direction. You're not allowing yourself to receive from the universe all the possibilities or the opportunities for that to manifest in your life. So pay attention to any kind of phrase that you start with. If I would, then something. Another form of identifying also limiting beliefs is through patterns. If you're constantly having the same patterns presenting themselves in your life from time to time, then this is an indication that there is something there within you that is leading into that result. So regardless if you have other people around you or other circumstances or other jobs or other situations, then if you have those beliefs within you, then it will probably bring up the same results unless you shift it from inside you. What is causing that situation in the outside? So it really requires an inner shift in order to experience things differently in the outside. And that's why I created this self-assessment toolbox that I launched this past weekend. So if you're interested, it's all about self-talk and limiting beliefs related to money and finances in general. So it's a self-assessment for you to go through, recognize what are the limiting beliefs that you have about those topics. Then you will be guided in how to clear them. Do some exercise with some empowering statements that you can create for yourself. And you also have the possibility of getting some inspiration from affirmative phrases, statements, empowering statements, and very uplifting ones when it comes to money and finances. So if you would like to have access to these, it's for 2 weeks from the purchase, and you can also see the link in the description box. You will get an audio and also a printable material for you to follow through and go through all the exercises and the practices of the self-assessment toolbox. Another form of also identifying limiting beliefs is through results. So if you become more attentive on your reality, you can from that get a feedback on what exactly within yourself is leading you to that result. So it's very interesting because through patterns, things get very evident. But if you start to refine your eyes, and start to become more observant of your environment, of the things that happen around you, then you can have like those indications of what is there that might be on the way within yourself to not be eventually living that thing that you want so much to experience. So just taking the example of the prosperity, financial prosperity, as we started this conversation earlier. If you want to, let's say, increase your investments, and you already started in that direction, what is in the way that is not allowing you, so to speak, to continue with your investments? So it's all about the self-observance, you know, if this word exists. It's all about the self-awareness that you can get through the behaviors that you're having, through conversations that we have with other people, through moments in your daily life that you, instead of deciding in one direction, you take another one. So all those little details of the daily life can really point you to recognizing what is on the way of that experience that you so much want to have in your life. So I hope this was helpful. I really do think that we are not victims of beliefs. We are actually creators. We can shift this from inside ourselves first to have the experience that we want outside of us. And the more you tap into this inner ability to shift, things get easier. Since I started doing this with myself, I have seen so many changes in the outside that they really feel like something magical, you know, from the universe, like gifts that you receive every day through synchronicities, through details in your daily life that seems to lead you to what you want, and without stress, without worry, without concern, without fear, you know. So that doesn't mean that those emotions, they do not exist, or that I would not have those feelings anymore. It's not about that, but it's about you knowing, this inner knowing, this certainty that you have on how things flow, how the universe is always working in your favor and not against you. It's not here to beat you. Experiences are not here to beat us down. It's about us remembering ourselves that we are capable of shifting things for the better, that we can transform our realities, that we can remember ourselves that we are much more powerful than we think we are. So I hope this was helpful, and I love this conversation of the day. I hope that you have enjoyed that as well. And yes, so see you soon. Have a good week, and bye-bye.